Hello, I'm Dr. Attia, and welcome to our virtual office. Thanks for taking a look at our website here. I'm a chiropractor, but I'm also a board qualified chiropractic neurologist. There's only about 600 of us throughout the country, and it's a rather grueling program to go through, but it's been very enjoyable, and I've learned a whole heck of a lot about a variety of disorders. As a result of that, what I've done for this section of our website here is put together these various conditions, named conditions that we have: ADD, ADHD, autism, and its other variants. It could be Asperger's and so on. Autoimmune issues, thyroid, and IBS, because they have a common thread. Okay, and it's real important to grasp that, in particular with these cases, it's really important to take a look at the gut first in many cases. Find out what the trigger is. Why is there a functional disconnect with these people that have these kind of conditions on here? And that's really a better term for those kind of conditions, a functional disconnect. I've studied under Dr. Malelio, if you want to look him up in there. Disconnected Kids is his book. Taken a number of his seminars and done an internship in that, and it's been a lot of fun and very enlightening. Let me cover just one of the issues that I see associated with these that is common. Now, there's a lot more to these, but I want to give you some of the basics here, okay? This is real important to grasp because we overlook this all the time, all right? The body has a number of barriers. It could be the skin, lungs, the gut, blood-brain barrier, okay? And some other immune system barriers that we have. What happens over time is this, and in particular in the case of a chemical or a molecule called gluten. Gluten is found in wheat. It wasn't before. If you've ever eaten a true whole wheat cake, it's as hard as a rock. Well, we didn't like that as consumers. So what they did is they started genetically engineering wheat so it would produce a protein known as gluten. The term gluten, the first three letters, is glue. It holds things together. So as the yeast is rising, instead of cracking and producing a rock, essentially, it'll hold it together and give us that pizza dough, pizza crust, Wonder Bread type consistency to it. This is what Americans wanted, okay? It's wrong, all right, because gluten is extremely toxic to some people. As a matter of fact, it's estimated that 81% of the population has a gluten sensitivity. But this is what happens, and I'll use this as an example. If I was to take my fingernail and start scratching the back of my hand here, eventually it would start to turn red, okay, and after time, it would take a long time because I'm lightly scratching, it's going to produce a blister. Eventually I'm going to get through that blister, okay, and I'm going to get down to raw flesh, if you will, okay? Same thing happens here, especially in the gut, okay? That gluten, other toxins, could be other food sensitivities, could gluten, wheat, dairy are huge in this, alrighty? That it starts to break through this barrier, okay? And the intestinal lining is designed to be a web. Tight web, only allowing certain things through, like amino acids, okay? So that the body can build from those amino acids. Well, if you have holes in the gut, it's going to let things through that it normally wouldn't let through. And the body's going to see that as an invader. That's a wonderful tool that we have. However, if we keep on ingesting the gluten, wheat, dairy, or whatever the sensitivity may be, all right, the immune system continues to stay on and on and on, and will continue to breach this barrier and start attacking different portions of the body. This is called an autoimmune disease. Essentially is what it is it's a civil war. One country fighting against itself, okay? And in this case, it's the body fighting against itself. In the case of a thyroid, when it comes to gluten, a gluten molecule looks like a thyroid molecule. That's right out of Dr. Karazian's book, okay? And if gluten isn't around and the immune system has been stimulated, by the way, the immune system are these little Pac-Men, okay, that kind of run around through the body, and they're looking for things that aren't supposed to be there, and they're supposed to dispose of it. Well, if they're constantly activated and there isn't any gluten around for them to eat up, thyroid tissue looks like a gluten molecule. It's relatively similar. As a result of that, then, these Pac-Men start attacking thyroids. We treat a lot of thyroid issues in this office, and very rarely is there truly a thyroid problem. The problem is associated with autoimmunity. There's something that's attacking that thyroid gland. Same thing with irritable bowel syndrome. It gets attacked by sensitivities, things that are tearing away at the lumen or the lining of the intestinal tract. ADD, ADHD, and autism, Asperger's, and so on. Same type of situation. There's a disconnect between the gut lining and the brain. Now that may sound crazy to you, but 70% of our immune system is located in the gut, and there is a gut-brain connection. Okay, you've heard before, I have a gut feeling. Okay, that is very documented and very real. Alrighty. Another thing that we find in the case of IBS is this. These people typically have, in every case that I've seen, these people have high salt contents within their cells and outside of their cells. This one I can't back up with science, okay? But my suspicion is this. Typically, this hits in the lower portion of the colon where water is resorbed from the food. If there's an extremely high concentration of particulate, let's say there's 100 over here, and in the intestinal tract there's 5, water is going to flow to this side in order to develop what's known as an equilibrium. The process is known as osmosis. If this is a huge difference here, my suspicion is that it continues to drive through that intestinal lumen there and chafes it. Okay? It's the difference between taking a garden hose and sending 5 gallons a minute between a window screen, into a window screen, as compared to a fire hose. Okay, that's sending Lord knows how much. I know it's 100 gallons a minute, 200 gallons a minute at high pressure through a screen. You're going to break something. You're going to break that barrier. We also see in most cases with people with IBS that the lips chafe quite a bit. They get chapped lips often. Again, a membrane that is designed to transfer liquid, as it is in the lower portion of the intestinal tract. So there's some thoughts for you on these kind of conditions. They're workable. I think it's crazy to use the traditional drug approach on these, but that's your choice. If you think that you'd like to talk to us about this, please give us a call. Phone number is there on the website, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about this. Alrighty? Thank you for your time.